Okay, we're recording in progress. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. My name is Julie Reyes, Chairperson of Community Board 8. Just like to remind everyone, tonight we're going to have a packed meeting, so we'd ask that any of the speakers please be mindful of the time, and we will have the clock going on this evening. As I mentioned, I'm Julie Reyes. Our Vice Chair, Sergio Villaverde, is on his way. We have our Secretary, Margaret Zella, our Treasurer, Joy Campbell Privatere, our District Manager, Farah Kiel Rubin, our Community Coordinator, Artmir Malzou, and our outgoing intern, Jalen Adorno. I'd first like to thank Intech Academy for accommodating us on such short notice, and Wave Hill for at least making an effort to host us. We will be there shortly. As far as ADA members in attendance, these individuals are excused should they come to the meeting online. Sylvia Alexander, Lee Chong, Robert Kale, Chuck Mertler, Georgia Santiago, and Martin Wolkoff. Some of the members are here, but in the event they show up on Zoom, they may participate in the meeting. A board member marked absence, yet in attendance via Zoom, may be permitted to speak if called on, but does not have the privilege to vote should a vote take place. And a reminder to the board members during the course of the board meeting, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged by me, and I will call on you. And this evening, when we have resolutions, if there's any discussions or debate due to the time constraints, we'll look to see if we have at least one or two people for and against, and then we're just going to move on and do a vote. We're not going to be here all night. We have a packed agenda, and we have to be out of here 9:30 the latest, or we have to finish by then. For the members on Zoom, not members, for the community on Zoom, please note that only members of the public who sign up to speak at the gallery session may speak at our board meetings. If you would like to speak, I recommend that you either contact the board office for our September meetings or future meetings, and also sign up to join a committee meeting where you will have more of a chance to speak and participate with the board. Okay, so first, at the beginning of the meeting, I would just like to start off with a moment of silent prayer for the loss of two community members. One is our current board member and aging committee chairperson, Mary Ellen Gibbs. Mary Ellen Gibbs recently passed away after spending several months in the hospital, and a GoFundMe page was created to assist the family with unexpected expenses accumulated since the unexpected death. For those of you who are interested in contributing, the information could be found on our board's Facebook page and even Mary Ellen Gibbs' page. I would also like to take a moment also to acknowledge the death of past community board chairperson and past District 11 council member, June Iceland, who also recently passed away. So if we could just take a moment, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, in the beginning of I'm going to change the agenda about a bit. Senator Gonzalo Rivera was here. He had wanted to speak. He had to leave. I just want to thank him for attending our meeting, even though it was brief. We appreciate it. And also we have in the, I'm going to change it around and have our representative from the borough president's office speak. Alexis. Oh, Alexis, come here. Yeah, I have Alexis Ruiz from the borough president's office.
Good evening, everyone. Can you tell that this is my first meeting in person? I don't know where to stand, where to wait for the mic, but I'm so happy to be here with everyone. Hello to my beautiful folks on Zoom. I just wanted to stop by the meeting just to say hello to everyone in person. I know I have been promising to come to the meetings in person for a while now, so now I'm more than just a box. Shout out to Jessica. And I just want to say to everyone, have a safe and productive summer. I will still be working for the entire summer, so if you have any issues, please call me, please email me. I will be here. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Alexis. Okay, we're gonna start off with the gallery session. Is there Donna Friedman from Mosaic Mental Health?
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for your time. My name's Donna Dimitri Friedman, and I'm the Executive Director of Mosaic Mental Health. And with me is Dr. Douglas York, President and CEO of Union Community Health Center. Mosaic has been in this community for over 65 years, serving the community with mental health and SUD services. And Union is one of the largest health centers in New York State. It has operated continuously for 115 years for multiple Bronx locations. Mosaic started in 1959 during the push to deinstitutionalize individuals with mental illness, with 2 clinicians and a small apartment in Riverdale. We've helped the community through 9/11 and the pandemic. During the pandemic, we partnered with Union to provide medical care to the community via the medical van. In 2015, after clinic restructuring, which led to 40% budget cuts for Mosaic, we struggled as one of the smallest agencies in New York City, often being referred to as the little engine that could. As a part of the reinvestment that the state made in 2016, Grassi & Co. was hired to do a feasibility study on our community for the needs for services in this community. And the study revealed that the population we serve, there is a shortage of medical, dental, OT, and PT services. Union was our partner in that study, and at that point, we began exploring ways to co-locate. Then the pandemic hit, which postponed the process. But in 2024, we learned from Assemblyman Jeffrey Dinowitz that the building at 521 West 239th Street that had been vacated by Jewish Board in 2020 was for sale. Mosaic purchased the building last Friday. Union will be co-locating with us as soon as the building is set up for their medical, dental, and much-needed physical therapy services. It will be a fully integrated healthcare center, providing mental health, substance use, primary care, maternal care, OT, PT, and dental services. We would like to request that the Union medical and dental mobile vans be used as a bridge to the community until all of the medical and dental services are set up. We spoke to both Assemblyman and City Councilman Dinowitz, who suggested putting the van perhaps near PS 141. Actually, I have to say it was Randy Martos who gave me that wonderful suggestion, since the school is closed in the summertime. And in addition, Councilman Eric Dinowitz has offered to do some special events in front of his offices for depression screening and other aspects of the work that we do, and also to announce the opening of the Integrated Care Center.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you, Dr. Friedman. Our next speaker, Angel Feliciano from West Half. And just a reminder, all the speakers will have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, then we'll go on to Dan Paternak. See there? No? We'll go on to Angel Ortega. Okay, then we'll go on to Morgan Evers. Does someone have a microphone on this side?
Good evening. My name is Morgan Evers, and I'm here to raise awareness about the voluntary intoxication of cold here in New York State. Recently, I spoke with a woman who was at an after-hours event, and after tragically sexually assaulted by a coworker. When she called the police,
Told that she was drunk and there was nothing that they could do for her. Let that sink in. If a survivor was raped or sexually assaulted while voluntarily consuming alcohol or drugs, current law can prevent prosecutors from bringing charges against that perpetrator. This loophole effectively says that those who are intoxicated aren't entitled to seek justice. It discourages survivors from coming forward, and it sends a message that people who have been drinking or consuming other substances somehow deserve to be sexually assaulted. This bill, which has already passed the state Senate, would fix this. It would make it clear that consent cannot be given when someone is so intoxicated that they can't make an informed decision. It's a common sense bill with broad support from survivors, advocates, and many members who live within Community Board 8. It's about ensuring that our legal system reflects the realities of how sexual violence happens, and it closes a dangerous loophole. I stand here today as a woman with a disability who is statistically more likely to be a victim of sexual violence, hoping to raise awareness and gain support. People in this community are watching. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Okay,
Do you have the Senate bill number? A-101?
Assembly Bill 101.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
okay, and then we're just gonna let our past board member, David Gilman, will have 1 minute. You need a microphone for the people on Zoom.
Look, yes. Thank you, Julie and Farah, for including us, Emerita, in this evening. It's very gracious of you to include us. I just want to note, over the past decade, as a member of the community board, I've made a number of friends, met a number of people from the various agencies in the city, and feel comfortable working with them going into the future. And even occasionally got a little bit of swag. I think I got this from one of our events. On a day like today, this sprayer is quite nice. My real purpose though is I just want to remind the members of the board, we have lots and lots of issues that come up to us in a current way. But please keep in mind the long-term impacts. A development, a street, a transportation thing, a park thing that is not going to be here 18 months from now, but 18 years or 48 years from now. Please keep in mind those long-term things that are going to be decades and generations into the future. Thanks.
Thank you, David. Good to see you again. Okay, that will conclude our gallery session unless any of the gallery speakers have arrived. Okay, so then we will move on to the next item, the Youth Committee presentation of the Comeback Kid Achievement Award. This award is given to young individuals in the community who have had success in overcoming challenges. I'd like to thank the committee chairperson, Ramdat Singh, the vice chair, Cesar Tovar Acostas, and members Kevin Wade and Karen Walker. If you can come on up. Oh, there you are.
Can we also have the committee members come up if you're able to? I saw Karen. Oh, okay. So we're here to award the Youth Committee's Comeback Kid Award presented by Community Board 8. A little about the award is it's for a student in our community that has overcome some obstacles or personal challenges and has used that obstacle and challenges to now give back and paying it forward to the community. Tonight, our youth committee and the board will present three awardees tonight. The first one is Ayana De Jesus. Ayana De Jesus has overcome both personal and professional challenges, is a consistent participant at the Kingsbridge Heights Community Center, and at KHCC has been helping fellow peers with the college application process, which is really important, to facilitating workshops for the community and youth, and to now being a group leader. And she's giving back to not only KHCC, but the surrounding Kingsbridge, Riverdale area. Congratulations, Ayana. Congrats to the family. Our second awardee goes to Kiana McMillan as, yay, Kiana. Who has shown remarkable resilience with dealing with both personal and academic obstacles and has done so with grace and humility. She's paying it forward to the community through her participation in Kingsbridge Heights Community Center by helping to plan events and facilitating restorative justice practices. Well, congratulations, Kiana, and thank you, KHCC. And our third awardee goes to Nora Al-Dalali. She has overcome both personal challenges within her personal and academic life. They are an active participant at the Kingsbridge Heights Community Center. They are giving back to the community by facilitating workshops and events surrounding mental health and youth mental health. They have turned their obstacle into service by facilitating a LGBTQ+ group to have teens connect with each other from the community and also have a safe space in the neighborhood. So congratulations to Nora as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramdad. And again, thank you for you and your committee for all the work that you put into in the selections, and also the people who nominated all the individuals. Thank you. Our next award is for the Irving Latimer Community Service Award. The board recognizes an individual or group that has acted on a volunteer basis to improve or enhance the quality of life of those living or working in the Community Board 8 area. We'd like to thank the committee, which includes the Vice Chair Stephen Fruit, members Sebastian Chitzapelli, Cesar Tobar Costa, and Constance Barnes Watson.
Watch your step. Yep. Okay. Thanks. Good fun. Good evening. Thank you, everyone, for being here. This is the award named for former longtime board member, late board member of blessed memory, Irving Latimer. It is the Community Board's Community Service Award, which predates even Irving and was founded back in, I think, the days of Marty's chairmanship of the planning board. There are 6 awardees tonight, and the members of the committee accepted nominations from the public over the course of over a month and did our due diligence. And six people is a lot, but these people have really made amazing contributions to the community. So let me start by mentioning the first awardee in no particular order, Christopher Rizzo. If you could come on up, Mr. Rizzo. Thank you. The award and the certificate reads, in recognition of your years of service devoted to the beautification, health, and enhancement of our community in your roles as founder of the North Riverdale Merchants Association and board chair of its successor organization, the Riverdale Main Streets Alliance, and as board chair of Friends of Van Cortlandt Park, which is now the Van Cortlandt Park Alliance. Thank you for your service to the community. Separate photos? Separate photos? Constance, you're up next.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Constance Barnes Watson, and I'm going to read about the next awardee. This nominee volunteers in multiple ways to provide assistance to those in need by combating food insecurity, by assisting food distribution programs at local churches, including supplying the friendly fridge, running the recycling program at the Riverdale Sunday Market, including Art for Aid. This individual also contributes to interdenominational programs involving raising consciousness about slavery and the Holocaust, among other subjects, in connection with institutions like the Hebrew Institute of Riverdale and the Riverdale Yonkers Society for Ethical Culture. This award goes to Richard Feldman.
Good evening. My name is Sebastian Chitlipoli. Our next awardee is Thomas Healy. Thomas has devoted himself to restoring the Riverdale 9/11 Memorial Garden located on the Fieldston Road and West 253rd Street after it was burned in an act of vandalism and remained in a ramshackle state for several years. He enlisted the support of Riverdale Country School, has arranged for donation of garden supplies, and contributed to the erecting of a new memorial plaque in the expansion of the memorial's coverage to include the members of NYPD and FDNY from Kingsbridge. The current memorial, which also includes a flagpole, lights, and watering system, is the site of an annual community ceremony of remembrance. The nominee also volunteers time with For Bronx, a project of KRVDC, to collect and drive donations from the Riverdale area to 4 family homeless shelters in the Bronx that serves more than 600 people, including toy drives and candy baskets from Halloween to Easter. Thomas Healy.
The next nominee is a retired educator, and she has volunteered her time to spearhead the establishment of a memorial, a special planting of trees in the Jerome Park Reservoir area to those who lost their lives as a result of COVID. And she regularly engages in literacy tutoring of children in her apartment building in the Kingsbridge Heights neighborhood. Please welcome Marion Kraft for this award.
Hi, the next awardee is a gentleman named Bruce Williamson, who is an accomplished working Broadway musician. Bruce, could you come up? Thank you. Mr. Williamson is an accomplished Broadway musician, playing saxophone, clarinet, piano, and other instruments, and a retired college professor of music. He volunteers weekly at the Hebrew Home over the last 3 years, performing music from the Great American Songbook on piano. He's also organized a group of musicians, including his wife, who I think is with us in attendance today. Please come up. To play concerts for the residents. And Mr. Williamson also works one-on-one with a particular Hebrew Home resident who has Parkinson's on an original piano composition. Thank you for your service to the community.
Our next award is not a stranger to CB8. It's Dr. Robert Fenucci. I saw him. Dr. Fenucci has been a community leader for over 15 years. He has been the president of the Bronx Council on Environmental Quality since 2014. BCEQ is a 54-year-old volunteer organization dedicated to protecting the air and water of the Bronx, facilitating greenway connections, and at the forefront of the movement to daylight Tibbetts Brook. The nominee has simultaneously been chair of the board of the Bronx Arts Ensemble since 2014. BEA is a 45-year-old organization that provides music concerts in schools and parks throughout the Bronx, and since 1993 has provided art education over 40 public K-12 schools throughout the Bronx. The nominee also served as the member of the Bronx Community Board 8 for 18 years, 3 of them as the chair of the community board, serving before and after his time as board chair, as committee chair of economic development and environment and sanitation, respectively. Yes.
Thank you again to all the recipients and the people who nominated them. And the committee, thank you for the work that you did. And Steve, thank you for stepping up for us. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go on to the next agenda item, report from the mayor's office, Alina Dow.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see all of these new faces. My name is Alina Dow. I'm the Bronx Borough Director for the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs. I did just want to again say congratulations to all of the awardees, very much deserved. I wanted to share some of Mayor Adams' things that he's really been proud of. One of the most important things is obviously the mayor's very concerned, and he always talks about safety is the main priority. So he has taken actions to make the streets safer, and he has announced the city-wide speed limit reduction to all of the e-bikes and the scooters. I know that that's been a concern in the community with all of them on the sidewalks and now in the streets as well. So they have a speed limit that has been decreased to 15 miles per hour. In addition, he has also signed an executive order and proposed legislation to codify into law International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism. And this is to address the historical rise in anti-Jewish hatred which is something that obviously is not acceptable. In addition, he's wanting more tractors off of the streets. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but there is a barge that was a jail for many years on Hunts Point. He is getting it removed. And he's going to be getting it replaced by initiative to actually revitalize that area. So that will be maybe our new place where our trucks and stuff will not have to go, but it will be coming in via boat or barge. In addition, 100,000 illegal vehicles have been taken off the street. 2,200 illegal firearms have been has been removed since the beginning of the year. And he has also expanded on the quality of life division to every precinct. It was a pilot, and now it has been fully expanded to every precinct. I did just want to touch base on right here in Tibbet. That has been a concern. Just so you guys know, I have been advocating. I was able to find out who owned it. We know that DOE owns the property. They have not forgotten about the project. It is going to be a very complex project because obviously them owning a street, but we have other city agencies that own all of the plumbing and the piping underneath it. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but it is going to get done. And then when it does get done, the street is going to be closed off. So we're not going to have to worry about the people that's smoking and doing donuts because they won't have access to the street. I hope that everyone's happy about that. And before then, until that happens, if there are some major potholes, we're going to have them be repaired as well. Other than that, I did want to share that I am not going on summer sabbatical. So you will have my availability through the entire summer. So if you want my contact information, you can take it down. My phone number is area code 914-446-8393. And my email is A for Alina, DOWE@cityhall.nyc.gov. And you can reach me anytime. You do not have to worry. I sleep with my phone.
Thank you, Alina.
All right. Have a good night and
Thank
happy
you.
summer to you all.
Our next report is from the 50th precinct. Is anyone on Zoom or present from the 50th precinct?
Yes, Lieutenant Edward Dolan,
Good evening, Lieutenant.
how are you tonight? I'm just here to report the crime stats. Year to date, we are down 15% in crime. Over the last 28-day period, we are down 21% in crime. We are down in all the major crimes. We are down 14% in robbery, 11% in felony assault, 58% in burglary, and 30% in grand larcenies. Stolen vehicles were up 4%, which is an increase of 1. We had 23 last year during this period, and we had 24 this year. And then this week, we're actually down 44% last week, and we were down in all the major crime areas. And then today we had there was an incident today that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with over on the Major Deegan in Putnam that caused the Major Deegan to be shut down. There was a construction site and an excavator fell into the construction site fell and it caused a water main break. And then the construction site on Putnam Avenue West, it flooded. And then we had to shut down the roads and just make sure the construction site was safe before we were able to reopen the Major Deegan. That was the main traffic issue today.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board members?
Hi, do you have any follow-up information on the carjacking that was reported in the Riverdale Press last month?
We don't have any updates on that right now.
That's good. Any other questions? Zeb, Lieutenant, you have one more question.
Is there an update on the drowning that occurred a few weeks ago in Jerome Park Reservoir?
But there was no foul play involved in that incident, ma'am.
What did you say? We didn't hear you.
So I'm sorry. There was no foul play involved in that incident. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to go on to our council members' report. If there are any council members online, please raise your hand or representative. And again, time constraints, councilperson, you will get 3 minutes, representatives 1 minute. Is anyone from Councilmember Sanchez's office?
No.
De La Rosa?
Nope.
Dinowitz?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna move on. And we'll go to the elected officials. If there are any elected officials online or the representatives, please raise your hand. Oh, goodness. Okay, is anyone? We're gonna start off. We'll start off with Senator Gustavo Rivera's office first because she went last the last time.
You got me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Flavia Salazar. I'm here from Senator Rivera's office. I'll try to beat the time. I'm sure you've noticed our newsletter flyer is out there. Please sign up for our newsletter. For the summer, it's gonna be bi-weekly, not weekly. Sorry, in advance. We're having immigration assistance with NIMIC. These are monthly. The next one is July 24th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Our housing NIMIC clinic is also happening on July 22nd. This is by appointment only, so please call our office. Tomorrow, we are having our first ever blood drive. If you have not made any appointments, that's okay. We'll take walk-ins. Please come and save 3 lives. We're having our annual senior health fair and luncheon in partnership with Councilmember Pirina Sanchez. This is happening July 10th, and we are now accepting RSVPs. We're almost fully booked. So if you know anyone, a senior family member, please let us know and call our office. We're located on 2432 Grand Concourse. You can reach us at 718-933-2034. Thank you for the extra seconds.
Thank you, Flavia. Okay, then we go to Senator Jackson's representative.
Good evening. I'm Dario Quinsack, Director of Operations for State Senator Robert Jackson. Legislative session is over, finally. For many of us in the room, is a relief. For some of it's not, because there are a lot of bills that a lot of our constituents wanted to pass. Unfortunately, some didn't, some did. Senator Jackson was able to pass over 25 bills. We're hoping that the governor will sign them into law. We were able, through the budget process, to bring a lot of capital funding to the MTA, more than we expected. There's gonna be ADA upgrades to stations and to the 1 train between Marble Hill and 242nd Street. Obviously, Senator Rivera's office also assisted in pushing that budget item in the legislature. And we're gonna be having some summer events closer to September, which some people would consider fall. And I left our budget update front, and it also has our contact information. For those that already have my business card, you can ask my business card, or you can just call the phone number on the brochure. Thank you. Happy to take questions for 30 seconds, no more.
Thank you, Dario. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next item agenda. Is there a representative? No. Okay, so we're gonna move on to roll call.
Sylvia Alexander,
Present.
Debbie Allen, Constance Barnes Watson, Bob Bender, Carol Blake, Joy Campbell Pripitier, Sebastian Chilapoli, Lee Chong, Dr. Wayne DeBeetham, Ingrid De Leon, Margaret Della present, Johanna Edmondson, Nicholas Fazio, Stephen Fruit.
He's here.
Stephen. Dr. Julia Gomez, Edward Green, Emily Hausman. Thanks. Rashida Hilliard, Barbara Kale, Rabbi Bob Kaplan, Charles Murdler, Angel Ortega, Julie Reyes, Adiana Rivera, Daniel Rowan, Georgia Santiago, Ramdat Singh, Jessica Sosa, Laura Spalter, Cesar Tobar Acosta, Jill Towns, Deborah Travis, Sergio Villaverde, Kevin Wade, Karen Walker, Martin Walpoff. We have quorum.
Thank you, Margaret. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next item. Approval of the board minutes from May 13th, 2025. Is there any discussions on the board minutes? Anybody want to make a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Any objections, abstentions? Okay, pass. So we'll go on to the next agenda item. It's discussion of the executive committee meeting for May 7th and June 16th. May 7th and June 16th executive minutes. Any discussions, questions or comments? Okay, so then we'll move on to the chairperson's report. There's a tentative date in August for training for the new board members, chairs, and the whole board in particular. Our office, and I'll just say, read the executive committee minutes for the rest of the report. I will just say that our community associate has resigned, and the office will be posting a new job. What was? Oh, no. The office will be posting for a new community associate, and Artie is not the community associate. Everybody went quiet at the exec meeting. It is not Artie. It's our community associate. And Farrell may be speaking on that more at the during her report. When the applications are submitted, Farrah and I will review it, and then I'll probably have 2 or 3 board members also from the applications that Farrah and I review. We'll have maybe 2 or 3 board members also take a look and present it to the board, hopefully in September. Due to the fact that we had a resignation from the staff, we also had more money in the PS. So we had an additional $15,000 that we could have transferred over to OTPS so that we could use it to pay bills and buy other items. The decision had to be made before tonight's board meeting. And the board years ago passed a resolution that any funds transferred or spent over $1,000, we need board approval. I took the liberty of authorizing Farrah to go ahead and spend the money. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to use the $15,000. So there will be a resolution in regards to that when the treasurer gives the report. Because it's either use it or lose it, and I chose to use it. And I hope no one objects to that. Okay, you want the resolution now? Yeah, okay. I said it was gonna be at the treasurer's report, and thank you, Chuck, for help wording the resolution. I would like to amend the agenda, just to add a resolution. We had a recent intern that worked with our office for a couple of months, and we just wanted to send him a certificate. And as everyone always says, a certificate is from the board, it's not from the office. It's not for the executives, from the whole executive board. So I'd just like to amend the agenda so that I can put a resolution to you approving that we send Deontay Dewar a recognition of thank you for his work that he did at the board. Second, okay, thank you. Any objections? Abstention? Thank you. So then we'll vote on to be able to send him a certificate of appreciation. Any objections? Abstentions? Okay, thank you. And then from myself, I do have 3 resolutions to present that everyone received. The resolutions to extend 3 special committees. The special committee on the Hudson River Greenway, the special committee on the Veteran Services, and the Special Committee on Racial Equity. Presented it to the exec, and it was thought that we will continue the three committees. So I'd like to loop them all together. Thank you, Chuck. Any objections, abstentions? Okay, those three have passed. And then Farah will give her report, but I just want to say, Jalen, thank you for everything. Jalen, this is her last month with us, and I'll let her speak. She actually is going to speak. Thank you, Jalen. But thank you for everything that you've done.
This is gonna be my last board meeting, and I just want to say I appreciate all you guys being supportive of me. I appreciate my time here. I appreciate being able to learn from the community board, and I'm sad to go, but I'm moving on to teaching, and that's what I wanted to do as my profession. So thank you.
Thank you, Jalen. And then my last thing, I'd just like to say, thank you, Farah, Artie, and Jalen. You guys did a lot in the past 2 days because we had a place to meet and then we didn't. And the school was so wonderful to get us in here, and the work that they had to do from last night till today in the heat with no water. You guys didn't have water in the office, and then everyone calling the office with the emergencies that went on. Today was a crazy day, and they set everything up because I was still with no water. But thank you, Artie, Farah, and Jalen, for all the work that you've done in the past 2 days.
I will try not to repeat, although there good evening, everyone. Happy Pride Month. Again, I also would like to thank Intech for help, giving us this meeting in a moment's notice. They've been incredible partners throughout the whole year. Our office staff is very saddened to hear about the passing of Mary Ellen. She was very proud of her involvement on the board, and we'll miss her humor, her participation at our community tabling events and visits to our office. I also want to give a heartfelt congratulations to our members, Chuck Mordler, Rabbi Bob Kaplan, and Community Associate Artie Malzou for making the City and State Bronx Power 100 list. I held my last monthly district service cabinet meeting for this term in June, and my next meeting will be in September. I did attend a workshop at the Borough President's office with my fellow district managers, bringing the temperature down, de-escalating situations. So I know how to de-escalate a situation now, so watch out. I sent written testimony to the Council Government Operations hearing, which was held on June 16th. There were several bills in regards to community boards. I did send the proposals to the board a couple of weeks ago, and the chair and I also met with the borough president, who also she discussed our concerns and comments on these bills and sent her testimony in with her rep to discuss them at the hearing as well. As Julie mentioned, we have $15,000 that I have been spending like crazy on this week and will continue to do so. We also had our first tabling events on May 18th, the North Riverdale Bach Festival and the Riverdale Pride Festival on June 1st. Thank you to our volunteers, Sebastian, Dr. Wayne, Margaret, Ramdot, Debbie, Constance, and Chair Julie Reyes. Thanks for helping out. And we will have more events coming up, and we'd love to see any of you that could come volunteer and table. Those will be in August. We have National Night Out. We have a Parks Movie Night Under the Stars at Bailey Avenue Playground, organized by Deb Travis, so thank you. That's on August 16th, and Marble Hill Family Fun Day. We were fortunate enough to get 100 tickets to New York Botanical Gardens, which we did distribute to our local shelters, KHCC after school program, Intech students, School for the Humanities at JFK High School, and other residents in our community. I'm working on a new calendar over the summer, so working hard on that and send that out when it's ready. As Julie mentioned, it is our last official, I won't say day, but week with Jalen, our intern. She accepted her offer with Success Academy, and we are very happy for her. I wish you all the best. You are a wonderful asset to this office, to the board, and you will be missed. So, but come visit. I want to thank all the board members for all you do as volunteers in shaping this community. You do so much, you give up so much of your time, and this was just a small token of our gratitude for all you do. And as Julie also mentioned, now that we've resolved a situation, we can now hire a new community associate. And I'm pleased to say I'm sending out ads in all the papers and online as soon as possible. As soon as that's ready, I'll send that out to everyone. If you know of anyone, just put the word out that we're looking for a community associate. We will be doing summer hours starting July 1st. We will be open at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then open 9 to 1 on Fridays. So that will be for the summer. And yes, we've been working very hard on this water main break that affected this whole community today. I've been on the phone every half hour with updates from all the city agencies, from the owners of the development, and we will just keep getting updates and keeping the community informed. So reach out if you have any more outages, water outages, air conditioning outages, just let us know. And that is all. Have a wonderful summer, everyone.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Farah? Okay, thank you. And just for the board members, if you have any neighborhood newspapers that we can place the ad in, please let Farah know. Can you get a mic? Is there a mic on that side? Jill?
There's a switch.
I just wanted to know, Farah, if you had any questions or know anything about what is going on in the Harlem River. There are some boats with structures just outside of the windows of the apartment buildings that are by the Hudson River. Have you heard anything about that for the past 2 days?
Do you have any kind of, I have not heard, if you do you have a photo, or I can just go check it out?
I don't know if I took a photo or not. I know one of my neighbors went online to ask if anybody knew what was going on. It's really weird. I'm not.
No, I'm in the hall. I live in the booth.
Where do you live? Oh, don't tell me where, just look at it.
Well, they can't get it anyway. It's the buildings that line the Harlem River between the Henry Hudson Parkway and going towards Broadway.
Okay, I will.
And there have been some rather huge barges there. It started, I was out of town until Monday. And they might have been out there Monday night, but when I woke up on Tuesday morning, I was quite alarmed.
Okay, well, now I see I'm gonna be speaking to Dario about it, who seems to know something about this.
Hi, it's probably the barges that are operated by the contractor that is building the power line that goes from Canada to Randall's Island. They're putting down a power line that's pretty much gonna provide an extra 5% electricity to the city of New York. So it's a project that got permitted by the state almost 5 years ago. And it's taking almost 7 years to complete. So it should be done by October of this year, at least a portion between the Hudson River and Washington Bridge between Morris Heights and Washington Heights.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, with that, we're gonna move on and go to the treasurer's report.
Good evening, everyone. This is the treasurer's report for June 2025. Farah, are we gonna put the treasurer's report online or no? Okay, so everyone has a copy. We now have 2672 left in our other than personal services budget, and 1.1 is the breakdown of that amount. I'll reference the budget mod in a second. 1.3, we have 0 funds requested, 0 funds encumbered. And for rent and energy, we now have 1491 left over. Now, the budget, the proposed budget modification, as Chair Reyes and also DM Keel Rubin stated, we now have the $15,000 to spend. You spend it or you lose it. And so that would increase the other than personal services budget from the 2672 to 17672. The budget mod reads as follows: whereas the Office of Management and Budget has confirmed that funds are available to transfer from from personal services to other than personal services. Whereas to support the work of the board office, a budget modification for fiscal year 25 has been prepared. Whereas 15,000 from personal services will transfer to other than personal services, broken down as follows: 15,000 will be transferred to Code 100, Supplies and Materials General. Whereas any actions taken by the officers or agents of the board to secure this transfer and facilitate it in advance as reported at the executive committee meeting on June 16, 2025 are ratified and approved. Be it resolved, Bronx Community Board 8 approves the budget modification in order to further support the work of the Community Board Office. Does anyone oppose the proposed budget modification language? Any discussion about it? Move to submit to the full board? Okay. Any abstentions? And no one in opposition? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we're up to committee reports. We're doing pretty good. It's a little after 8. I'll just remind everyone that we still have time constraints. We have a lot of resolutions. So we'll start with the Aging Committee. And everyone will be timed, so try to do it in like 3 minutes, but you will get more if you don't finish naturally.
Okay, first thing is we have a resolution that supports the reintroduction and passage of New York State Senate Bill S3607 and Assembly Bill A4639 that prohibits public employers from diminishing health insurance benefits provided to Medicare eligible retirees and their Medicare eligible dependents, or the contributions such employer makes for such health insurance coverage below the level of such benefits or contributions made on behalf of such retirees and dependents by the public employer. That's the language of the bill that was introduced. Basically, it says that the public entity can't diminish the insurance or the amount they give for the employee insurance. And we would like approval for that.
Okay, thank you. Pretty similar to the bill that, rather than the resolution that the committee passed previously to the council. Does anyone have any questions, comments? Emily?
Just do the mic.
I just have a question because I know we went through, there was like all those things with the retirees and the benefits there, and like city kept saying that the insurance they were offering was the same quality, right? Which we know is not true. But what stops that from happening again? Like, is the language in this
I don't know
enough?
what she's saying. I do what she's saying.
I'm trying to figure out how to word it. Like, what I'm worried is that the city will come and say, oh, it's the same, or it's just as good. Does that make sense?
I'm having trouble hearing you. But basically what they're saying is that if you work for a public entity, that entity can't reduce your benefits or the amount it gives you for your insurance benefits. And it parallels what's going on with New York City employees.
This is going to the Assembly and the Senate. Pretty much the same bill that goes to the council. We can determine what they're gonna do. We're just giving our voice.
Okay.
So
I
let's,
just wondered
yeah.
if there was like stronger language or a different way to word it, but it seems like not. So it's-
no, not here.
No, I just
Okay.
hate for what happened to this retirees. that
Exactly.
happen In a different. place.
Exactly.
And anything we can do to stop that would be fantastic.
Okay. Any other comments? Thank you, Emily. So we'll vote on the resolution. Anyone abstain? Yes, Sergio? Just one abstention? Anyone opposed? Okay, the rest accept. Thank you, Barbara. Budget? Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This is the budget report for June 2025. I reported at the executive committee meeting that Chair Reyes, DM Cool Ruben, and I had met to discuss and prioritize 21 capital requests and 34 expense requests. And the budget committee voted unanimously, except there was one item that we had to tweak. Under capital expenses, ranking number 5, there was a discussion about item number 8, Argus security cameras for Allen Chandler Park entrance at 3545 Jerome Avenue. It was actually Chair Green who pointed out that we were going to delete it from the list, and Chair Green asked to do a deeper dive because he thought that actually it was within our district. And then Chair Deb Travis did a deeper dive, and it turns out that at least the west side of the park has generally historically been within CB8's purview. So it's back on the capital list. We also had, well, the other changes were discussed at the time at the budget committee meeting, that we are going to expand the NORCs throughout the district, not just in Riverdale. And for housing, we reprioritized ranking number 2 to classify that as continued support because that's been around for a while. And back to the Argus cameras for Allen Chandler Park. I guess there will be some discussion with CB7 and CB12 about whether or not there are any overlapping requests to the extent that the east side of Allen Chandler Park is within those districts. And again, the budget committee did vote unanimously on this. So any discussions?
Can I just add to that? I didn't really speak with CB12 and CB7. CB12 has already put it in their requests and CC'd me on it as well. So just to keep you informed, we're all going to share that request.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions on the budget? Okay, so then we'll vote to submit it as is with the amended submission of the parts. Anyone object? Any abstentions? Okay, so the budget will be submitted as is. And thank you, Joy, for the few months of stepping in as budget chair. Okay, so I just want to mention at the tables, Rabbi Kaplan and Barbara, there's a sign-in sheet for selecting your committees. If you can look for your name and put the two committees that you wish to join and pass the sheet around. Nick, there should be one with you, right? Fill it out and make sure that you submit that this evening. Just put your two committees. If you are a committee chair or will be a committee chair, you have your two already set. It's the committee that you're chairing and the executive committee. Those are your two committees. Everyone else, please fill that in this evening. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go on to education and libraries and then environment. So Dan, if you can get a microphone soon, and then land use. So Chuck, you should have a mic. Daniel, but first we're gonna do education and libraries. Sylvia?
Yes, hi. I submitted my minutes from May 27th. I did not have a meeting in June, and I wish everybody a great summer.
You have a resolution, Sylvia?
Sylvia, you have a resolution.
The resolution doesn't have to be passed because it was sent only from the committee. That was only committee approval.
We have a resolution in the package, which one?
Well, I don't know why it's in there.
There's a staple application that everyone received.
Yeah, they already had the event.
Right, but we're still putting it on.
The event occurred on May
Right.
31st.
Right, but we could still do the resolution so that the board could be on record, not just the committee. So everyone received the resolution. Any questions on the resolution? So we're gonna take a vote. Any abstentions? Objections? So the resolution passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, environment and sanitation, Daniel?
Right, so I want to thank everybody on this committee for coming to meetings all year. Artie, for your help always. We have 4 resolutions. First, which actually needs to get sent tomorrow for the comment period, Artie, I'll you later, is the resolution basically opposing the reclassification of the Harlem River waterway, and encouraging further engagement and study and more green infrastructure along the Harlem River rather than giving up and reclassifying in some way. So can we vote on that one first and then the others because they have nothing to do with each other?
Okay, anyone have any questions on the resolution? No questions, okay, any abstentions? Objections? Passed.
And then we have 3 dining out sidewalk cafe applications. All 3, we can vote them together, save time, is for Artisan on 3700 Riverdale Avenue, in that corner there. Bailey Seafood Market and Restaurant, which is mostly a restaurant. And Kingsbridge Social Club. At 3625 Kingsbridge Avenue, of course. All 3, they're basically applying for permits for the existing sidewalk structure setups they have now, which are not structures, but just tables on the sidewalk, basically. There were no objections, questions, issues, and all 3 of these passed the committee unanimously. So I get a vote for.
Anyone have any questions or comments?
For any questions first?
Okay, we're gonna take a vote. Any abstentions? Any objections? Pass.
Get some stakeholder.
Thank you, Daniel. Okay. The next, land use. You may have to press the button.
Madam Chair, I have 2 reports. First, pursuant to the authorization of the Executive Committee, I appeared earlier this week for the Charter Revision Commission. One of the items on the agenda being to strip community boards from any participation in the ULURP process. But you should not feel slighted too much because also the borough presidents were supposed to be stripped and the city council was supposed to be stripped. So there was unison among those three groups at least. The community boards testified. I testified on Monday and put in written testimony on the issue for the board. You should know the committee just blew off every representative of every community board. They gave them the courtesy of letting him run and speak for a couple of minutes, and then they shut him down, which leads appropriately into the next item. The last meeting of land use was concerned with the issue of SNAD and the refusal of the Department of Buildings, Department of City Planning, and even now landmarks to enforce SNAD. We sent letters as passed by land use to each of those agencies. Not one of them had the courtesy of even acknowledging the letters, let alone saying what they would do. That now causes an issue as to two of them. There's a different issue as to the third, so let me deal with the third first. The Office of the District Attorney of Bronx County has taken in some evidence that we provided to them showing photographs of violations of SNAD that were provided to the Department of Buildings, which said it couldn't see any. But the photograph showed the trees actually being chopped down. That's now in DA's office, and they have asked us to communicate with the Commissioner of Investigations on it, and I will do that if you, at the end of this, approve my taking that next step. The second issue is the city planning and landmarks. City planning is more important because it has consistently ignored SNAD and doesn't want to enforce it and would like to repeal it as it has done in the past. The point here is, and what we propose to do over the course of the summer, is meet with the Conservancy and other people interested in the maintenance of trees in the neighborhood, maintaining the character of sidewalk trees, parks, and the like, to see what next steps we can take. And there are next steps. One of them is, of course, a mandamus action against each of the units. And I can tell you, I would like nothing better than to go after them personally as counsel to do that, if that's the will of the board after we have a report to you at the September meeting. But the other ones are much more important. You've got to make a decision, each and every one of you, whether this stuff is important. I don't mind spending the time, neither does Marty, to keep staying on top of this issue. The question is, do you want to keep it? I can tell you there are two parts of the city of New York that have it. They are Riverdale and they are Staten Island. The purpose is an environmental purpose as well as a nature preservancy purpose. And they don't care. They are in the hands, owned and operated by the developer industry. It's not a question. I know I represent that industry. They are owned and operated. So that's the end of that discussion. The point I make to you is that is something that's going to be an item. If any of you have any interest in working with us on it, please let us know. Let Marty know, let me know, let the chair know. Most importantly, I guess, let Farah know that you are interested in doing this. My view is, if you don't have trees to look out, what the hell are you doing spending money living in Riverdale? And what are you doing in areas like the amalgamated area where people don't have the protection of SNAD and the communities in that area is being destroyed by development? That's not an exaggeration. I am given to exaggerate. That is not. That community at this rate will cease to exist as a village type of entity within a year. That's going to happen throughout this community. You want it? Fine. You don't want it? We got to do something about it. Think about it. And the last piece, of course, is the following. You have representatives, elected people here. Only one elected representative from this community has picked up a pen and said a word about, I want to preserve the character of the communities that have trees, that have hills, that have things of that kind. And that's Councilmember Dinowitz. Very, very sad. And the issue I put to you and to the people sitting behind me is, would you mind waking up your representatives? They're all up for election shortly, and maybe they could use a good awakening. Thank you, Madam Chair. But can I have a resolution affirming our right to take this to?
Yes, the resolution at 135 West to 25th Street. Okay,
Resolution authorize us to take the issue of Department of Buildings to the Commissioner of Investigation.
okay, we'll put it to the floor. Stephen?
This is just a comment. I mean, I personally, as resident of, sorry. I personally, as a resident of the area for 20 years, feel very strongly about this. And I know I and Bob Bender and former member Rosemary Ginty, Bob Fanuzzi, and I think I may be leaving someone out, worked very hard about 5 or 6 years ago when SNAD was actually under fire and the threat of its going away and being eliminated for Staten Island, a little part of Queens, and for this neighborhood. It is truly all neighborhoods have special character, and this is one that gives ours a special character. And we have substantial tracts of land, which are parkland or forest, and it's not something you see everywhere. So I personally wholeheartedly endorse the effort. I pledge my time and resources to the effort, as I have in the past. And I do think it's kind of exactly in the bailiwick of what this board does in representing the community. So those are my 2 cents. And I thank Chuck and Marty and Land Use Committee for staying on top of this because, and I have one point of information, and that is the Charter Revision Commission that you testified at earlier this week. These charter commissions can be convened by different bodies, sometimes the city council, sometimes the mayor. This is Mayor Eric Adams. His Charter Revision Commission is seeking to eliminate community board role, the city council role, and the borough president role from ULURP. Okay, another great achievement by this administration.
Okay, thank you. So Chuck, in essence, what are you asking? Resolution, letter, authorization?
Authorization, go ahead.
Okay. Any objections? Okay. Thank you, Chuck.
You do have a resolution.
He has the resolution at 135 West 20th.
We have one more resolution. The Carroll Building has been before this board time and again over the past few years. It's located in the Marble Hill section, and it has historic windows and other features. The owners of the building are in the process, actively engaged in the process of removing those windows and saying, to hell with you all, we're going to remove them. We have asked the Landmarks Commission to pay attention to this issue, just as we asked them to pay attention to the SNAD issue. I think their attention is totally preoccupied with the borough of Manhattan and then only the central portions of Manhattan, because they don't seem to pay any attention here. In any event, we've asked by resolution that the matter be given to Landmarks to grant an emergency hearing to determine whether these windows are entitled to Landmarks designation. So far, all we've had is we'll deal with it in due course. So maybe we have the resolution. I think we ought to get on record that we think that there is a function. The Bronx and Marble Hill and the rest of these outlying areas are really entitled to some activity and some representation by this city's agencies. They don't give a damn.
Okay, so does anyone have any questions or comments before we vote? Daniel? Someone please give Daniel a microphone.
Now, Daniel, what?
The fourth one? Okay.
Daniel, can you ask again because we can't hear him, so.
He answered my question, but I guess the fourth whereas is redundant, but I guess that's already been seen, so,
Okay,
perfect.
thank you.
This was involvement of what is it?
Any other questions or comments? Okay, so we're gonna vote on the resolution. Any abstentions? Any objections? Okay, pass. Thank you, Chuck, and thanks for all the work you do. And Marty. Okay, so we're gonna go on to the next three committees, our public safety, traffic and transportation, please have a mic, and law, rules and ethics. So public safety first.
All right, good evening, everybody. First of all, I just like Julie and Farah, I want to acknowledge the passing of Mary Ellen Gibbs, who was a member of the Public Safety Committee. She was a community committee member and an appointed board member. She was very loyal to the committee, and she was a friend of mine, and I'm gonna miss her. Second of all, I just want to announce also that in addition to our committee, Michael Courtney, who was here earlier but had to leave because he has a prior engagement, is going to be a community committee member for the Public Safety Committee now. Mike is he's a retired FDNY firefighter, and he did a couple of years with NYPD also. So we're very happy to have Mike. He's been showing up at our meetings, and he's been a great addition, and I'm excited to have him for next year. So with that, we have 14 resolutions, so hold on to your hats. So I'm gonna break this up a little bit for, for the sake of time. You're gonna get the abbreviated version on a lot of this, because I know we have time constraints on this meeting. But these were back, these 5 resolutions were all from our May 20th meeting. So we have 2 months of resolutions because the board hasn't met since the last 2 public safety meetings. So from our May 20th meeting, the 5 resolutions we have. One, two, three, 3 renewal applications for SLA, 1 alteration application for SLA, and 1 Office of Cannabis Management new establishment license. All these applications, we voted unanimously on. I'm hoping everybody read these resolutions also. So, like I said, because of time constraints, you're gonna have to get the abbreviated version of it, but please, okay, yeah. So as far as the renewals are concerned, Eltenia located at 308 West 231st Street, Beccafino located at 5704 Marshallou Avenue, Bronx Burger House located at 5816 Marshallou Avenue, and Great Performances Artists as Waitresses, Inc., and Wave Hill Incorporated, located at 675 West 252nd Street. Those 4 are all SLA applications. There was no issues as far as the 50th precinct is concerned with any of them, and the committee voted unanimously to approve them. And the last one was an Office of Cannabis Management new establishment license. There was no trade name provided. 3603 Riverdale Avenue. And that one, the committee voted unanimously to disapprove. And I will read a footnote I have on that as really to the main reason why it was disapproved.
Come to the liquor ones first and get rid of them.
Sure, sounds good.
Okay, does anyone have any questions, comments on the liquor applications? Okay, so we'll take a vote. Any abstentions? Objections? Okay, they pass. So now
Okay.
we'll do the cannabis.
So as far as the cannabis application is concerned, Bronx Community Board 8 received written notification from 236 Riverdale Realty, who's the authorized representative of the landlord of the address in question, 3603 Riverdale Avenue, stating that cannabis sales were not permitted under the current lease, which is designed for use as an American-style diner. So what the landlord stated that this was an unauthorized sublease drawn up without the landlord's knowledge or permission. We had a couple of other merchants that didn't want the business there either, but the main issue for me anyway, and for the committee, it was the unauthorized lease, and we really got that information at the last minute. I was, we were kind of prepared to go forward with this, and then we got that drop down at us at the last minute. So that's why we voted unanimously to disapprove that application. I'd like to call a vote.
Okay, any questions or comments on this establishment? Okay.
Just out of curiosity, was the intent to have the dispensary within Tiny's diner, or?
It would have replaced Tiny's Diner, as far as I can tell. That's the impression I got, yes.
Did the landlord want to redo the lease in order to rent to them? Or that's
I'm sorry?
the landlord, the lease was written up to be one type of restaurant? Did the landlord want to was interested in redoing the lease in order to rent to them or no?
No, the landlord had no knowledge that there was a sublease.
Oh, a sublease.
Right.
So sorry.
Sorry.
Sublease. Okay, fine.
Okay, thank you, Emily, and that was Dr. Wayne. Emily, anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, so then we'll take a vote. Any abstentions? Any approvals? Meaning that you're going for let me just reword that. And I know it's,
You're approving to disapprove.
who, those of us who wish to vote with the Public Safety Committee and reject the application.
Should ask the other way around.
I know. That would be everyone else. Okay, and then, so.
Who's against?
That's-
It-
It's everybody.
Who's against? Nobody's against it.
It's everybody.
Is anybody against the resolution?
Okay, is anyone objecting to the resolution?
There you go.
So unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, so to our June 17th meeting, we have 9 resolutions. And I'm gonna read off the renewals. We had a renewal for Punto de Sabor Express at 200A West 231st Street. We had another renewal for Keenan's at 5588 Broadway. And Liebman's Deli at 552 West 235th Street. Those 3, there were no issues with the 50th precinct, and committee approved them all unanimously. And I'm gonna say let's vote on those 3 because the others have certain little nuances to them that people might want to discuss.
Okay, any,
Liebman's Deli.
okay, does anyone else have any other questions or be clear with the locations? Okay, does anyone object the resolution? Abstain? Okay, approved.
Okay, next up, we have, this is also a renewal for SLA, and the reason I chose to vote separately on this is because the business has had quite a few complaints in the past. It's Playoff Sports Lounge located at 5666/5668 Broadway. The committee did approve this unanimously, and the reason we approved this unanimously, the owners have met recently with Captain Pierce and officers to discuss complaints and makes efforts to eliminate them. And they are working with the 50th precinct, and some of the complaints attributed to them are in question because they're in a place with a huge parking lot that have a lot of other businesses there, and a lot of people park there illegally. So we saw that they're making an effort to work with the 50th precinct to curb some of the noise or the garbage or whatever's going on in there, and felt that that was the right thing to do to give them that opportunity.
Okay, any questions on this location? Constance, do you have a mic back there?
And do you know if they have marked off or designated which parking spaces belong to them? And I ask that because as a customer at Staples, I can't get in sometimes because things are happening at the bar.
Yeah, I don't think any business has a designated amount of spots. I think it's basically just come, come on in. So yeah, that's one of the businesses complaints that a lot of the disturbances are being caused by people that don't even frequent their business.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, so we'll vote. Are there any objections to the resolution to renew it? Objections, abstentions? Okay, so it passes. And that's a location, I think it was brought up in Daniel's committee too, Laura brought it over about, they have sanitation issues, someone's dumping the grounds.
Right,
And then
yep.
you guys will follow up.
See. Okay, so the next.
Oh, and just gonna interrupt, I'm sorry. Are you having, if you have sanitation issues over there, if you could just let me know. Enforcement called me today, would like to know where we're having issues in the district. So just if you can remind me or email me tomorrow, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up, we had a corporate change. So the corporate change was a name a lot of people are familiar with. You had Tijuana Nights located at 216 West 242nd. And their corporate change was going to be the replacement of one of the co-owners with a new co-owner who's an accountant. So this business, as is well documented, has had more complaints than any other business in the Bronx Community Board 8 area. So and this committee this board has actually previously had a resolution to disapprove their renewal in the past and was ignored by SLA, and SLA did renew them. However, again, like the last business, they're recently meeting with Pierce and the officers and trying to make efforts to eliminate them. And the new manager, who's part of this whole, according to them, they're going to install a full kitchen, transform the business from a nightclub into a restaurant that doesn't cater to nightlife clientele. Now, if this were a renewal, I might think about this differently, but it's a corporate change, and especially if it's a business that we've had problems with, me personally, and I think it was the committee's feeling as well, we would welcome any change to a business that's problematic as far as it being a corporate change. So this guy came in, his name is Michael Marrero, he presented himself very well, and they stated, they seem to be trying to make an honest effort to turn the place around. Only time will tell. It is a corporate change. I personally would not see any point in standing in the way of that, especially if the business has problems and is now looking for a new owner. So we voted unanimously to approve.
Any discussions or questions, Dr. Wayne?
I guess my chief concern here is the matter of, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. There are any number of corporate changes where the name really is changed to a cousin and the business is proceeding as usual. And so while I do agree with the intent that we do applaud and approve improvements on problematic businesses, my personal concern is that I think we should perhaps maybe give a contingent approval or keep them on a short leash such that we don't kind of blindly give approval and wind up with the same problem going down the line.
Well, the idea of a contingent approval is interesting. I didn't really consider that. So again, if this was a renewal, I'd be a lot more apprehensive about this. And you mentioned the changing to somebody's cousin, or we've kind of seen that occur before. In this, like I said, in this case, it's a corporate change. SLA went against us the last time and gave them it despite all the long history of complaints. So I almost feel like we have nothing to lose with this, and time will tell. So.
A question from Sergio?
Oh, look, apropos to the question by Dr. DeBeetham, is there a time frame that we have? Does this have to happen before September? Do we know that?
I can tell you if I look at the application. Hold on a moment. Give me 1 second, sir.
Please, be reminded to sign up, for your committee assignments. That list should be going around. We'd like to have everybody signed up.
The expiration date is oh, but that's for the license. This is just a corporate change. The license doesn't expire until December of 26, but this is a corporate, just an application for a corporate change.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking the question is because apropos to Dr. DeBeatha, if there are conditions that we would like to impose for any change, for any request that comes to us, if we had till September at least to do so. But you know what, I'm not gonna make a motion to table. If you feel comfortable doing it now, you're the chair. Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't know what we can make them do. What are we gonna do? Twist their arm? I mean, we at this point, we have to go on a little bit of faith, and if they don't live up to their end of the bargain, we can try to get their license pulled the next time they come up for renewal.
Jill, so you have your hand up?
It's on.
So I guess my question, and I think I was not at that meeting for that particular establishment, but I remember this from before when it was a problem. Was there any conversation about the time that this restaurant is going to close or at night or?
They did say they're planning on closing earlier. I can't recall the exact time, but she said 10 PM. Thank you for my attentive committee members.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, let's vote. So your resolution is to approve
Correct.
the corporate name change. Okay, is anyone against the resolution? Abstention? Sergio? Yeah, Sergio abstains. And then everyone else, Dr. Wayne, are you abstaining? 2 abstentions.
Okay,
All else approved.
we're good? All right, I actually should have grouped this with the other ones because this was a new application and temporary retail permit for Flame located at 5740 Broadway, Unit D. There was no issues with this. We thought it should have been a corporate change, but the guy wants to start again with a new license, so we had him, his partner left, so he's on his own now, and rather than have a corporate change, he wants to get a new license. So as our policy, we made him sign a 2 AM closing agreement, which is not going to be an issue with them. They closed way before that anyway. So we voted unanimously to approve that. Can we call a vote?
Yes, any questions, comments? Any abstentions? Objections? Pass.
Okay, so the next up is Office of Cannabis Management, new establishment license. No trade name provided. It was at 574 West 235th Street. And I'll just read a brief excerpt from this for the interest of time. The board received 9 written statements from community residents, including the pastor of St. Gabriel's Church opposing the business, and additional residents spoke at the Public Safety Committee meeting, urging the board to disapprove the application. I will say overall, at the time of the meeting, the board had received 31 written statements opposing cannabis retail businesses operating in the area overall, in contrast to 4 statements of support, and none of them were for this particular business. So the committee voted unanimously to disapprove this application.
Are there any questions or comments?
It was not voted unanimously.
First, let me just straighten this out. You said it was voted unanimously. You had someone who approved it.
My apologies. I got the wrong one.
Okay, so we're gonna do the 574 West 235th Street.
Yep.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me just straighten this out first. Wait a minute, let him. 574 West 235th Street. So go to the one that you have and then we'll come back to that.
No, that's,
You got it?
oh, you just want to count? That's all?
I just want to verify that it was, you said it was a unanimous.
No, it was not unanimous.
Okay. All the other information was correct on this one?
Correct, yes.
Okay, you had the rabbi and then Stephen.
The question, how many in the past, how many applications for cannabis dispensaries have been approved by the committee?
2 have been approved, 4 have been disapproved prior to this. One of them is one of them didn't wind up being in business because I don't know, the owner had some personal reason for it, but the other one is in operation in Kingsbridge.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Stephen, take the mic from that, please.
Just in terms of the location, where is this located on West 235th Street? Can you give me a landmark, like what store?
It's right around the corner from St. Gabriel's Church.
Is it by Dunkin' Donuts? Yes, Dunkin' Donuts.
What? I'm not sure. Fruit place?
She has batteries.
Thank you. Okay, Daniel, did you have a question? Okay, are there any other questions? And just to let the audience know that only the board members can speak at this time. Oh, yeah, I can't let you speak because you of all people know. I can't, sorry. Let's see. All the information has been given to the chair and he has stated all the facts. We have to be fair to everyone. Okay, thank you. So now, are there any other questions or comments?
I just wanted to comment, I was the one individual at the committee who voted against the resolution to prohibit the license. Nonetheless, I think this resolution, actually the business who came forth was very responsible, followed all the guidelines, went above and beyond in demonstrating how they would be a responsible business operator within the community. And I think it's important to recognize when there are instances like this with a responsible business owner going above and beyond, someone who lives and works in the neighborhood, who has an investment with children, just making sure that we're differentiating between responsible business owners and those who are not.
Thank you. Any other?
This was referring to 574 West. I voted to disapprove of this application. This particular business came, I think, with 2 or 3 attorneys, 2 of which I think are here. They spoke very eloquently, but I don't think the client got the script because he informed the Public Safety Committee that the proposed name for the business was Mad City, which is not exactly a name that's resonant with the baby boomer demographic that the business purports to want to serve. Mad City, and apparently that stands for making a difference. But in my mind, that seems to be actually targeted to minors, and that's the concern here. Our remit is to be responsible and responsive to the committee, and they have, I'm sorry, the community, and they have grave concerns that there's not going to be a firewall between minors and these dispensaries, despite all of these supposed elaborate plans about security and whatnot. So the community doesn't want this. And with this particular application, I think it was just, it almost seemed to be gaslighting with respect to the name. Now, I understand the business owner said that, you know, he's not wedded to that name, and I hope not. But again, I stand with the resolution. I think we did the right thing.
Oh, that's the night, okay. Okay. Nick?
Just swipe it. Just swipe it. Switch it, like switch.
So, I also voted against this,
Point of order.
Marty?
This is not the Public Safety Committee. They had their meeting, chair made a report. We don't have to hear every
Understood. I'm
member
explaining
how they look at it.
our position as a committee and my position as a member of that committee. If, it's
They
okay
had
with the
their
chair, I'll
meeting.
continue with my statement. I believe it's not a point of order. I believe it's appropriate.
But Marty, when a resolution is given, people get, well, you're gonna do 2 for and 2 against, and then we're gonna vote. Because whenever there's discussion, because this is a discussion, and we agreed at the exec that we're not gonna be here all night, we're just gonna do 2 and 2, and then that's it, we're gonna vote.
Madam Chair, may I continue?
Yes.
As I was saying, the committee voted overwhelmingly, albeit not unanimously, against this for a variety of reasons. Joy alluded to a couple of them. In addition, the proximity to St. Gabriel's Church, which is also a school, not only for the Birch, school is the Birch Early Development School, but also for catechism for the St. Gabriel's and St. Margaret's. And in addition to the letter that we received, a very passionate letter, I mean, from Father Sean, from St. Gabriel's. So given the, in addition to the letters, that we received, the overwhelming opposition from not only our major anchor institution in this community, but also, the individuals that wrote letters, and we also had some parents, at least one parent at the meeting as well. We voted, against this. I voted against this as well, and I think that decision reflects the will and the values of our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I will seat my mic for this discussion here. I'd just like to say that in regards to this establishment, I agree with Margaret on all her points. And just to be clear, because this is new for the city, the cannabis. Now, the establishment, it's not going to be where you can, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that it's visible that you can just go in and buy whatever they sell inside there. They reported that they will have security indoor and outdoors. That goes to the points of the firewall. They said that they would definitely be open to changing the name. And it's a business, just like the liquor stores that we have all over the place that, you know, some people drink, some people don't. Cannabis is for medicinal purposes as well. And it's not a place where hopefully any kid, just like a liquor store, they can't just walk in and have whatever. And is this correct, Ed, that the storefront, you're not going to be able to look inside, that it's not going to be like one of these stores where you know what's in there and you could just walk inside?
You're asking me?
Yeah, just,
OCM has specific regulations. It's very generic for all their stores. They have certain guidelines that each applicant has to follow as far as the storefront presentation, as far as what type of lettering is on it. It's it's very bland and very generic.
And they followed all of those guidelines, even as far as, someone mentioned that the proximity to a church, like they've hit all the points on OCM's guidelines. So I'm just saying, I agree with Margaret, it's a business, it's a responsible business. We have one in Kingsbridge, across the street from the precinct. I mean, and you can have one across the street from the precinct, and it's a business. It's a new thing, it's a new way of life, and that's all that I'm gonna say. We're not gonna go, I said 2 and 2, and we're done. We're gonna vote.
Except there's a point of information.
Go ahead.
Point of information regarding the distance from St. Gabriel's. I believe the Office of Cannabis Management, we can check it, there's 200 feet from the school and 300 or 500 from a house of worship.
Correct.
It's both a house of worship and a school, and it's based on if you look at the exit of St. Gabriel's, it's only 100 feet away. The entrance is around the corner, but the exit of the church and the school is right on the corner of 235th Street and Netherland.
Okay, big point of information. One might say it's not a point of information, but okay. We definitely have had 2 for and 2 against. So unless there's a vote to overrule what the chair had said, we're gonna call the question. All right, any abstentions? 1, 2, are we getting those? Bob, Emily, Rabbi Bob, Rhonda. Yep.
Yes.
Any nays? Anyone opposed? Opposing the resolution, which is the disapproval resolution, correct? So you're voting nay to the resolution. Is that what you're saying, Rabbi? To the resolution. Okay, so these are nay votes. Keep your hands up for the nay votes, please. And Jessica. All right, you put your hands down. All in favor of the resolution, please raise your hands.
Marty. Debbie Allen. Sebastian. Dr. Lee DeBeetham. Ingrid DeLeon. Jill Towns. Constance. Florence. Watson. Barbara Care. And Joyce.
Okay.
And
And anyone online? Did we get it? Anyone online who's allowed to vote?
Sylvia, how do you vote?
Sylvia, how do you vote?
I'm against it.
She's against it. She's a nay.
No.
Disapproval of the license.
Sylvia, are you in favor of granting the license or opposed to granting the license?
Opposed.
Okay. She's in favor of the motion. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, 12 and.
Wait.
13, or do you have Sylvia? Yeah.
So you have Nick.
Do you have any other resolutions?
No, he's abstaining. One like Farrell.
Keep saying. Ed, do you have any other resolutions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, yeah, let's move on while the count happens. We'll come back to it, please. Ed, go to your next
So-
resolution.
The
Nope.
next resolution is Office of Cannabis Management, new establishment license for the Premium Bud LLC at 4685 Manhattan College Parkway. There were, well, the committee voted to disapprove this application, and the reasons were 9 written statements urging the board to disapprove the application, including letters from community residents, representatives of Horace Mann School, a Manhattan University Board of Trustees member, the Manhattan University president, and several Christian Brothers whose aging community is located across the street from the location. Once again, the board received 31 written statements opposing cannabis retail businesses in general. This was the one business that had the 4 in support of them. And I just want to state also really to what Chair Reyes said earlier about this being a legal business, and you know, and I commend the applicants. I'm sure everybody's a hardworking person, professional person, but the way I looked at it and the way the majority of our committee looked at some of these applications were, we are trying to reflect the views of the community that was given to us.
Ed, we're in the middle of your resolution presentation. We're not at the discussion yet.
Right, well, I'm presenting my resolution. So it's a legal business. If they legalize prostitution, would you want them to open up a whorehouse down the block next to the school? So that's the way I look at it.
Okay,
We're reflecting the views of the community that came into us, and
all right, Ed,
we're acting in an advisory
right,
way.
Ed, I'm gonna stop you there because if there's more for discussion, you'll have a chance to do that. I want to give the count on the prior resolution so I can hand the microphone back because the chair properly recused herself. No, it's okay, you can have it. It's 13, the resolution carries, 13 yeas, 7 nays, 3 abstentions. So that resolution carries, and not, unless you're gonna be discussing this one as well. Nope. Did I see the chair?
Okay, so is there any discussion on this resolution? Okay, we're gonna, oh, Margaret?
Just to reiterate, this application, like the previous application, met all the criteria of OCM. It presented itself as a well thought out business prepared to operate under the guidelines and laws and requirements of New York State and New York City. I think it's important for us to support responsible businesses and not move the goalpost as soon as businesses meet those thresholds. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Use a mic. Use a mic.
My comment applies not just to this one business, but I do see that there is a tension between a community that disagrees with the legalization and commercialization of the sale of cannabis products. I do see that. On the other hand, if the law is set up in such a way as giving the community a voice to decide whether a particular location proposed business should be approved, then I find it hard to disagree with taking that opportunity to take a position. And I do think, however, that it has to be specific to the location and the applicant. I don't think that it's appropriate to simply say, we can't ever have a cannabis business in this neighborhood, given that it's been legalized in the state of New York. But I do think that the community board has a role as to the business owner, the business plan, and the location, and taking into account the immediately surrounding community.
Okay, given the time, and we've had 1 for, 1 against, going to call the vote. It's 9:10. You just,
The resolution, we had one person speak for it.
we have 1 for and 1 against, and now we're going to vote. Okay? It's 9:10. We're leaving. We have another full agenda to keep going. We have a lot more resolutions. For the resolution that Ed just presented, is anyone abstaining? Emily?
Are you abstaining, Debbie?
Debbie Allen.
Debbie Allen. So we have two.
Okay.
So
And against?
against is Daniel Rowan, Julie Reyes, Rabbi Bob, and Margaret Della. And Sergio Villaverde, and Jessica Sosa. Are you in favor, Marty? Yes, okay. All in favor of the resolution? It's everyone else and
Can we,
Or do you want me to read out?
yeah.
you have Nick Fazio,
Okay.
Ramdat Singh, Deb Travis, Stephen Fruit, Ed Green, Sebastian Chitalapalli, I'm sure it's saying it wrong again, Dr. Wayne DeBeetham, Ingrid DeLeon, Constance Barnes Watson, and Joy Privter, and Barbara Kale, Bob Bender, and Jill Towns, and Marty Walpoth.
Are there any other resolutions? Go ahead.
So the last resolution we have is for Green Block Retailer LLC at 3524 Johnson Avenue. And this one, the committee did vote unanimously to disapprove, and we received 11 written statements from community residents opposing this business, and additional residents spoke at the Public Safety Committee urging the board to disapprove. This was the same applicant that had previously been disapproved the month prior because of the issue with the sublease with the landlord. So I will say on the board did receive 2 days ago from the applicants a petition with 119 signatures. Well, it's highly unusual to bring forth this information after the committee is voted, but this is for the sake of transparency. We did get a petition with 119 signatures and addresses in support of Green Block Retailer LLC 2 days ago. So I don't really know what to make of this or why it wasn't presented before when they appeared at our Public Safety Committee meeting, when they had the opportunity to do it. A lot of the addresses that I reviewed the petition, and a lot of the addresses were from the Kingsbridge area by the reservoir. A few more were not in the CB8 area, and a lot of the signatures appeared similar. So without any emails or phone numbers to verify the signatures, and the previous issue with the unauthorized lease, I don't have much confidence in this petition. But I do want to let everybody know that they did get 119 signatures supporting it. And with that, the committee voted unanimously to disapprove this application. So take that information with however you want to take it.
Okay, any discussions? Jill, do you have a mic?
What's the question?
On Johnson Avenue, 3524.
Exactly is that.
Where the Bella Notte was.
Bella Notte.
Opposite the diner. Any other questions or comments? Stephen, take the mic, please.
What was the comment about the same applicant had the sublease issue? Could you just quickly explain? Sorry.
The applicant's name is Troy Benson. His partners represented him at the meeting, and he was the applicant that applied for a different location, but with the Tiny's Diner location in the month of May. And we disapproved that application tonight, as a matter of fact, at the full board, but at our committee in May.
Okay, Sylvia?
Is this also cannabis?
Yes,
I see. Okay.
helps the pain. Okay, we'll take a vote. Any abstentions on the resolution? Any objections?
I object.
She objects.
No,
I think she objects.
you don't want the cannabis there, right, Sylvia?
Not on Johnson Avenue, no.
Okay. Okay, objecting is the rabbi?
You have six, Sergio Rodriguez, Daniel Rowan. Anyone else? Jessica Sosa. And Ramdat, you're
You're-
against the resolution. Okay. So opposed.
No abstentions?
Any abstentions? Emily abstaining.
Okay, and for the resolution?
Can you say the names, Farrell? real quick?
Say each name. We
Sylvia.
have Sylvia Alexander, Nick Fazio, Stephen Fruit. Deb, did you vote already? You have Deb?
No.
No.
What did you vote?
What's your vote? In favor, that's what we're doing now. Okay. Stephen Fruit, Ed Green, Marty Wolpov, Debbie Allen, Sebastian Chidolopoli, Dr. Wayne DeBeetham, Ingrid DeLeon, Jill Towns, Bob Bender, Constance Barnes Watson. We have her, Barbara Kale, and Joy Privter.
Ed, do you have any other resolutions?
I'm done.
Thank you, Ed. I'm with this one. Okay, thank you, Ed. Go to traffic and transportation.
Just for the sake of time, I'm just gonna request to do all the May 15th applicants for dining out. The business, for 3 of them, everybody unanimously approved, and there was one business, Yuka, where they were very busy and they were not able to attend. Traffic and transportation, however, there's no issues with the 50th precinct with the applicant. So, yes. No, it's just, this is only the sidewalk. They don't have anything in the street anymore. So the businesses for the May 15th traffic and transportation, the applications was Ann Beal Boach at 445 West 238th Street, Blackstone Bar and Grill at 3713 Riverdale Avenue, Marianne Pizza Cafe, 6100 Riverdale Avenue, Bronx, New York, Yo Burger, 3726 Riverdale Avenue, Yucca Latin Bistro, 5684 Riverdale Avenue. So I'm requesting if we could vote on all 3 candidates, all these applications,
Yes, does anyone have any questions or comments?
dining out. No, candidates, sorry, yes.
Okay.
Is there a question?
Do you want to include the Bronx public application as well? It was from your other meeting, but it's the same application.
Sure.
Okay, just let the audience know.
We're adding one more applicant. And it's from the June 4th
meeting, SEGBO application, and the business is dining out, New York City sidewalk application, Bronx Public, 170 West, 231st Street. And this was on June 4th.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, so we'll vote on the group of applications. Is anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Passes.
Thank you.
Unanimous, right?
The next is, the Department of DOT Bailey Avenue, Van Cortlandt Park to West 225th Street Corridor Safety Improvement with Bike Lane. Just to let the committee know, we disapproved what their original plan was, but we did provide them with, suggestions. I will not read the entire resolution. But we did provide them with, some suggestions, and I believe that they will work with us, and they do want to work with Community Board 8. And, you know, we want for DOT to continue to, you know, to come up with different alternatives, and we have provided them with that. And Mr. Perez has stated that he's willing to make some adjustments with some of the information that we provided in this resolution.
Okay, does anyone have any comments? Bob?
Thanks, Debbie. I know you've had a lot of back and forth with DOT. This issue's been under consideration and discussion for some period of time. And, you know, I think you've been terrific as a chair to keep talking not only to DOT, but to the community and getting community input on this. I do have a concern about the final clause here. That DOT initiate a study of alternatives for the bike lane on Bailey Avenue. As we discussed at the executive committee meeting, the only alternative is not to have the bike lane. And that troubles me because the bike lane serves two functions. As I said at the executive committee, it's a protected bike lane for cyclists, but it also narrows the street, which is the big issue here. The street is so wide that there's a lot of speeding, and it is, as the resolution acknowledges, one of the most dangerous streets in the Bronx. It's in the top 10% in terms of accidents and injuries and people killed. And if you don't narrow the street, you really miss the point here, which is the wider the street, the faster the cars go. So that bike lane is integral to the success of this project. And I would be glad to vote for this resolution if it didn't have that final clause, but with that clause, I can't vote for it.
So you want to do a friendly amendment or anything?
Well, you know, regardless, they're still going to do the bike lane. Because I know that their dream is to have bike lanes go from New York to Canada. And I just want for the record that, do I believe that we should have bicycles on open roads? They would need to be on all the streets in New York City, designated bike lanes. Bike lanes start and stop. And I don't believe there's a consistent methodology in which they have bike lanes in New York City. They're not consistent.
So you're gonna leave it?
I'm leaving it.
Okay. Dr. Wayne? I thought you had your hand up. Zeb? Can someone give Zeb a mic? Nick, thank you.
I just wanted to add that the bike lane here is secondary essentially. That the plan was to narrow Bailey Avenue because it's so dangerous and to make it 2 lanes, 1 in each direction. I wanna, there is just a point of information, the traffic on Bailey Avenue is approximately the same amount of traffic as on Sedgwick Avenue, which is a busy avenue, but it is one way in each direction, with lots of opportunities for double parking. If you've ever been on Sedgwick Avenue, you know about that. So I don't think it's gonna be as disruptive as it's feared. I think it's gonna be a lot like with Riverdale Avenue, where we were concerned about what the impacts would be, but then ultimately it ended up really cleaning up the right of way in each direction. And then second, I want to say that the Harlem River Greenway will be connecting to this bike lane. This bike lane was one that was subject to public discussion for over a year. And there were 3 or 4 different public input sessions to talk about alternatives to this particular location. That people throughout the Bronx participated in and people in this district participated in. So I think that this particular bike lane has had much more discussion than most. And that it would allow a connection all the way down for people in our district, all the way down to the southern end of the Bronx as a continuous protected bike lane. And then would also connect all the way into Van Cortlandt Park and does in fact go all the way to Canada already, because I checked and it can go all the way up to Michigan, which is pretty impressive. So so for those reasons, I also lastly, requesting more public engagement on the bike lane. It makes me not want to support this amendment as well, or this resolution as well. And then also just the middle one, the be it further resolved that we are recommending maintaining 2 lanes going in both directions. I think that would maintain the width of Bailey, which is what makes it so dangerous. And so for those reasons, I can't support the resolution.
Okay, Ed?
So, I live over by that area, by the Amalgamated, and I travel by bus all the time on Bailey Avenue. And it seems to me that this is gonna be a carbon copy of what they did on Broadway. And Broadway's an abomination as far as I'm concerned, what they did. It's a complete mess and it's worse than, way worse than it was before. I see all kinds of difficulties over there. It's already a lot of congestion over there as it is now. And if you're going to take away more lanes and narrow the road, it's just going to cause more traffic over there than already is. I support this resolution. I mean, to me, we all know DOT's track record. They're probably going to ignore the community board anyway, but I do support the resolution, and to me, it could even be stronger. I would just flat out say no to these bike lanes if it was up to me, but I do support D&T's resolution.
Okay, thank you. So we have 2 opposed, 1 in favor. If anyone wants to speak, who's in favor? And then we're gonna vote. Are you in favor? Are you in favor, Nick? Okay, so who had their hand up first? Okay, and then we're gonna vote. There's 2 and 2. Thank you, Nick.
So to the point, so this was in part based on a community meeting where traffic and transportation came and gave an in-depth presentation. Was it last month, I think? And I would say for the record that this was very well attended by the community, and they were they made their voices heard. And I think that the resolution that was put forward does, I think, integrate a lot of the concerns that the community had with many of the changes that DOT had put forward. And so I just want to point that out, that there were a lot of people who live in the area who were very, very concerned about a lot of the changes that DOT was trying to implement.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're gonna vote.
I just wanted to add one thing, and one of the major concerns was the loss of 46 parking spots would impact businesses. And not just restaurants, but healthcare facilities that are in walking distance where elderly people will not be able to park because they're eliminating the 46 spots, and also healthcare workers who don't have access to any parking spots or even a parking lot.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna take a vote. We had 2 and 2. two and two. Those who are against the resolution.
You have Margaret Della, Deb Travis, Ramdat Singh, Daniel Rowan. Any abstentions? Bob Bender. Constance Barnes Watson abstains. Jill Towns abstains. We have it all? And then those in favor. Sylvia, are you in favor?
Yes.
Hello? Okay, I'll do her last. So you have Nick Fazio, Stephen Fruit, Ed Green, Marty Wolfove, Debbie Allen, Sebastian, Emily Houseman, Jessica Sosa, Dr. Wayne DeBeetham, Ingrid DeLeon, Barbara Kale, Rabbi Bob Kaplan, Joy Privter, Sergio Belverde, and Julie Reyes.
What about,
Who?
what about Sylvia?
Sylvia, how do you vote? In favor of the resolution?
I am in favor.
Thank you.
Okay, Deb, do you have any other resolutions?
This one will be quick. Riverdale, September 11th, Memorial Day Garden Ceremony. It was unanimously approved by the committee. And I also want to add on there the SAPO application for the 2025 New Balance Bronx 10-mile road race, which was also unanimously approved by the committee.
Any discussions, questions, comments? Okay, so we'll go for a vote. Any abstentions? Oppose? Passes. Any other?
I have one more. And this was not voted on by the committee, and it's more not an opposition.
So we're gonna do, and this is coming on the floor?
Yes, coming off.
Okay, so we'll ask for an amendment to the agenda to add it. Ron makes the motion.
Yes.
So I make the motion, second, any objections, abstentions? Okay, now, put the resolution on. Thank you, Deb.
We're just requesting to present this to the DOT with some suggestions for other sites for city bikes. We recognize that city bikes is part of transportation for New York City and for those who may not necessarily have access to transportation. And we're just recommending some sites to be added and some sites to be removed. And it's a one-to-one switch in terms of what we're looking to work with City Bike. And we're also requesting usage at certain sites for city bikes. As per the community, there are sites where people see the bikes just sitting there and they wonder if it's a really effective use of our street beds. We're not saying we want to eliminate it, but is it a real effective use?
Okay, has everyone, you familiar with this, with the places? Anyone is not? Okay, great. So let's take a vote. Any abstentions? Anyone opposed? Passes. Sylvia? Well, you can check it. I asked. Okay, any other resolutions? Thank you, Deb, and thanks for putting all that work. You and your committee, you guys did a lot putting that resolution together. Thank you.
Thank the past chairs who've been very supportive.
Yeah, Kelly
and we're
was
here
the-
to serve the
Yeah.
community and do what's best for everybody.
And I have to say, he's not a member, but he goes to a lot of the committee meetings, somebody named Oliver. And the community, they were very appreciative because you guys did a lot of outreach there and you did have, like Dr. Wayne mentioned, you had a nice crowd there. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go to law, rules, and ethics.
Just note the time and the fact that I'm only allowed a certain number of hours to be out. So I appreciate it. So I'll keep this short as best as I can. I also want to acknowledge, point out the loss of Mary Ellen, who is a colleague. Well, we enjoyed, well, I want to get I from we. I enjoyed working with her as a colleague and will miss her. And my wife, who was here, was her teacher, so she also knew Mary Ellen. And I'm sorry about her passing. We're also sorry about the loss of June Eisland, who was the chair of this board way back when. In fact, I think it was maybe 14 that she was chair of. But she's one of 3 members of this board who went on to become city council members. And she's one of, well, 2 I know of, who were members of the board who became Supreme Court judges. So anyone out here knows that there are possibilities. Well, think about it. But June was valuable to this community. Started off as a parent association president, and she started working for the Lindsay administration, and then became a board member, and then went on to the city council, became chair of land use. Extremely important role, and well liked, and she will be missed. So I just want to add those two. My report, in brief, I suggest that those who wish to check out the minutes of LRE. We spent a great deal of time researching legislation that is in the works, could be in the works on open meetings law. And those that were being considered and those that have already passed. We are, I am concerned anyway, that apparently many of the community boards throughout the city do not follow these rules, otherwise there would be need to keep on talking at and trying to pass these laws. I've been in contact with before state legislators to get input. I appreciate the fact that you're really good. The various offices here is here, and she was extremely helpful in helping us wend our way through the legislation. There was one that was concerned to us a couple of years ago, and it's still in process, and that is to reduce the quorum required for community board meeting from half, 50+% plus 1 to 25% plus 1. It was pointed out to me that the legislation allows community boards to make up their own judgment. There's also legislation being considered that the chair of the committee and the Zoom is sufficient to have a meeting, so long as you allow people to come in and view it. So there are lots of legislation which makes no sense, and we want to look into them and find the ones that we wish to support, which is what the committee is doing. Secondly, there is there will be, we decided to wait in September. That wasn't that bad.
Yeah, you are, and they've already asked us to leave.
We will just, we wanted to bring it up today, there's no reason for rush through an amendment to our bylaws, because it requires 2 meetings, therefore we'll wait until September to raise it, September or October to raise it, and that concerns what we consider to be a contradiction in one clause in our bylaws. We'll raise that and discuss it to get your input. And finally, I just want to note that there are a number of us, myself included, who are almost at the end of our term limits. Some of those people are chairs, and there will be a need for other people to take over those positions I make a commercial for my committee. I am the first non-lawyer to be head of whatever this committee has morphed into, from ethics committee to law committee to LRE. I'm the first non-lawyer. And so I recommend that anyone who consider looking into the operations of a board in general are invited to join. But I, for one, am concerned about who will succeed me as chair of this committee. And I know that two of my members are chairs of other committees, so they can't. And one has already said that he chose not to. So I ask you, when you fill out these forms, consider LRA. We'd love to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Okay, we're gonna go over to Bob Bender for the nomination committee.
So, the nominating committee, met several times. We, provided minutes of those meetings. And then we provided, as, we were required, our final report on June 12th, 2 weeks before the board meeting. I think it was June 12th, but in any case, 2 weeks before the board meeting. There were two vacancies, when the nominating committee, was created. One was for the budget chair and the other for health, hospitals and social services. And as we reported, we recommended people to fill those positions. For budget chair, Sebastian Chinawapali, and for health, hospitals and social services, Dr. DeBeetham. After we met, after we turned in our report, as we all know, Mary Ellen Gibbs passed away, and so we have a vacancy for the aging committee. The committee did have a vice chair, Barbara Cal was here tonight, and if she's willing, and I hope she would be, she certainly can fill the vacancy for now. But what we do have to do, and again, the regulations are clear that nominations can be made from the floor tonight. So I think before we go ahead and take a vote, we need to find out if anybody does want to nominate anybody else or themselves for any position.
Stephen?
Like to nominate Barbara Kale, who's the chair of the meeting committee, to accept the nomination. I feel that was.
So Steve said he'd like to nominate Barbara Kale, and she accepted.
Yes.
Are there any other nominations for any position?
Nominations.
Okay. Second. So let's vote it as a slate, adding Barbara Kale to the list that the nominating committee submitted to the board.
So we'll vote on everything, the officers and the committee chairs, exactly as the nominating committee had it, and with the addition tonight of Barbara Kale as the aging committee chair.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, are there any objections? Okay, so we'll take a vote. Any abstentions or oppositions? So then it passes. Thank you very much and congratulations.
Oh, before, Julie, before we finish, I do want to thank the members of the nominating committee, who were Debbie Allen, Ed Green, Jessica Sosa, and Cesar Tobar Acosta. Thank you very much to all the committee members.
Thank you. You just took my words, because I want to thank you all, because I know a lot of you normally would not want to be put in that position, and I truly thank each and every one of you. Thank you. Okay, so then we're going on off to the economic development. Constance, no report? No report from Constance. Health and hospitals, Rabbi? If you have a mic, this Jill. Oh. Health and hospitals, Rabbi? We have 10 minutes. I thought we would have so much time. We almost finished at 8.
Very simple. We had a meeting last night. Our main discussion has been around the issue of mental health. Mental health is a plague in the Bronx and New York City in general, but it's a plague in the Bronx. And the long-term effects of everything that is happening in the world has taken a deep impact both on young folks, particularly those who are undocumented in our city, that are being threatened of being pulled out of their schools, of coming home and their parents are not home, and families being torn asunder. There's a huge mental health issue that I sit on the Interfaith Advisory Committee for the Chancellor of the Department of Education. And it's been a very deep conversation that we've had. And likewise, I also act as a chaplain for the MTA police. And there's a deep level of mental health issues with our law enforcement as well that is not being addressed properly in the context of our city. So this is an area that really needs to be looked at and addressed more properly within the context of our city. I'm stepping down as chair, as mentioned before. I want to thank Dr. Wayne for stepping into that position. And I would like to leave a suggestion. There has been very low attendance at committee meetings. Often there is not a quorum, and there's a feeling of lack of attention to some of these issues. And one is reluctant often to bring in some of the speakers and some of the folks that really have spoken loudly some of these issues. So I would suggest that as the nominating committee, whoever or however that is looked at, that certain committees be seen as perhaps combining, so that there'll be better attendance at these various different committee meetings, so that there's not a feeling of frustration when you bring together a committee meeting or bring in a speaker or want to affect what's happening in the context of the community, particularly around of mental health.
Okay. Thank you. And that has been discussed during the executive committees, and Jill and Sergio will be working on that area. Thank you. And thanks for the work that you've done in the committee. And Dr. Wayne, good luck to you. Okay, we're going to go on to housing. Anyone reporting? Jessica? Is there a mic to give to Jessica? Go ahead, Jessica.
All right. Rashida's already started her vacation, but she texted me and asked me to speak. At the last housing committee meeting, we had Menhor Fatima from Bricks and Mortals come and speak. They are a grassroots 501c3 nonprofit organization that essentially connects faith-based organizations with real estate developers, community advocates, to help them kind of understand what they can do to use the real estate that they own as a faith-based organization to continue to support the community and continue to do their work. So if you are engaged in any of those, if you're in a faith-based organization or in real estate or a community advocate for helping faith-based organizations navigate how they can leverage their properties, they'll be a great resource. So reach out to Menhor Fatima. Additionally, we did actually vote on a resolution unanimously to support TOPA, which is the tenant opportunity. Hold on, let me look up so I don't say it incorrectly. The Tenants Opportunity to Purchase Act, TOPA. So for those who aren't familiar, TOPA is a bill that was introduced in April of this year. It is, I forget the words, but essentially it says that before a building owner can sell the.
I'm sorry, I have to stop you real quick. we have to get out of here in like 5 minutes. And I just was informed that the resolution hadn't been submitted, so we're gonna make a recommendation that we amend the agenda to submit this resolution. Is there a second? Okay, any abstentions, objections? Okay, now we have to really listen to you because I was just told that it wasn't submitted. So just briefly, what is TOPA about?
Sure, so TOPA, tenant opportunity to purchase act, I believe, sorry, yes, act. It essentially says that a building owner, before they sell their building to outsiders, that tenants can have the right to organize, to buy the building themselves and become essentially from renters, become shareholder, become a co-op or a condo themselves before it goes out to the market. We brought it up a few meetings ago and kind of to give everybody some time to like read the bill and understand it. And at the last meeting, we did unanimously vote to show our support for TOPA as a community board. We think the few things that we did like about the bill is that part of the bill ensures that when the tenants do buy the building themselves, they maintain affordability for 99 years, which we thought was really good. Considering in the spirit of affordability in New York City, especially after the passing of the city of Yes and that, so.
Can I ask, is this time sensitive? Because I know it just occurred recently with one of our council persons. Is this time sensitive?
It is not, so it's.
Okay, so then I would
still-
recommend, because
Yeah.
we haven't seen anything and I'm like, where is this coming from? And this is Rashida's resolution. I want to make sure that it gets the proper attention. So we're just gonna move on from that, Ramdot? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna table and we're gonna move on because everything else is in the minutes. Is there anything that's not in the minutes?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go into the next parks.
So we did not have a June meeting. Our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for September 24th. If you have been waiting the last 40 years to use the playground, for playground restroom, you are in luck. It is now open. And also the Strong Street playground is now open as well. So two wonderful new additions to the neighborhood. August 16th is the Bailey Movies Under the Stars, which we'll try to have a board appearance at. And then just get outside, enjoy the parks, be mindful of ticks. We've got a really record tick season this year, so make sure to be aware of what to look for before you go out there, but enjoy your parks. Have a great summer.
Thank you so much, Deb. You?
Have a great summer.
Okay, thank you, Ramdot. Special Committee on Hudson Greenway. There's one next to Barbara on the table, wait.
Well, first of all, thanks for renewing us for another year. The main thing I want to say is that we are going to be meeting with the MTA, and we will find out what their resilience plan for the Hudson River is. They have a plan to protect the Metro North tracks. We want to see if that's going to have any negative impact on the proposed greenway. But that will happen over the summer. I will report on it once we have it, just so everybody in the community knows about it. I do want to mention that on Saturday, July 12th, as part of the City of Water Day, the Friends of the Hudson River Greenway are going to have an event which we are calling Sunset on the Hudson. It will be at the University of Mount St. Vincent down on the point, where in the past Riverfest has been held. There'll be no boats. It's not Riverfest. The boats won't be there. But it will be an event where there will be some music, there'll be some food. People can get down to the river because the University of Mount St. Vincent has property on the west side of the tracks. And we will be doing that to promote the Greenway and show everybody what it would be like if we could actually get down to the Hudson River. So Saturday, July 12th, 5 to 8 p.m. It will be followed by a movie at Mount St. Vincent.
Thank
That's my
you.
report.
Thank you, Bob. Margaret?
Special Committee on Racial Equity, thank you to all of the standing committees that offered up activities to advance equity within the district. I think we almost had 100% of our standing committees represent what they had been doing to support advancement within our community. So thank you all for that. Please see the interim report that the SCREE committee submitted along with the updated capital request map, fiscal year, I think 16 to 26, as well as the activities. All of those items will be posted to the SCREE webpage of the community board. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. And did you mention the palm cards? Margaret, the committee has wonderful palm cards we'll be distributing. Special Committee on Veteran Services.
Thank you and good evening. All right, I refer everyone to our minutes. November 2nd is a tentative date for the Memorial Grove Veterans event. We are still finalizing that, and have a great summer, everyone.
Thank you, Sergio. Is there any unfinished business? New business? Farah and I just want to thank everybody for all the work that you've done, and we look forward to seeing you over the summer. August 20th, tentative date that we'll all meet, hopefully, for training, and enjoy your summer, and we'll see you at the park. At the parks. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn, motion to adjourn.
Motion, round out motion to adjourn, second. Good night, everybody.
That's always got that.